There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit,
in tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. The Psychic and the Doc, we have a very special episode tonight. And before I get into that, I want to do a special thank you to all our veterans in the US, UK, and Canada here on the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. June 6, 1944 was a day which changed the world. And speaking of changing the world, we have an amazing guest in this episode, Jana Short. She is nothing short of a force of nature who sweeps through the international landscape of influencers and entrepreneurs. With her heart deeply rooted in empowering others, Jana wears multiple hats with grace. She's a brand strategy specialist, a master practitioner in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and rapid transformation therapy, RTT. She's a visionary entrepreneur, a multiple best-selling author, and the host of Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Jana is also the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine, and she's been recognized as the top magazine publisher and publicist of the year by IAOTP, which is the International Association of Top Professionals. And Jana has been designated one of the top 15 coaches in Los Angeles by the Influence Digest of Los Angeles. Jana has also been honored as Woman of the Year by Hollywood's Soulish magazine, and recently she made the cover of San Francisco Soulish magazine. And in July 2022, 2 years running, she was named Los Angeles Entrepreneur magazine's top influencer. Now, Jana is a fan favorite of The Psychic and the Doc, and Dr. Pat, my esteemed colleague and co-host, we are so honored to have you back on the show. Welcome, Jana Short.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. My goodness, I've been busy.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, and you don't look weary for it. I ought to be drinking the water you're drinking.
So, Jana, I wanted to ask you a question. You got all these amazing things going on, but I think I first met you when you had me as a guest on Oh My Health, There Is Hope. And this podcast is centered on healing, but for you, healing is a lot more than medicine. Can you tell us what you mean and what your objective with Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast?
I would love to share a little bit on that. For me, healing is like we all have the potential, and it's all between these two beautiful ears of ours. It's a complete mindset shift of what you want. So I was given a diagnosis of no survival and sent to be at hospice. And I chose to not accept that, not knowing that I could, but today I could, right? So I just strung those days together, and here it is 11 years later.
Wow.
And I'm still thriving in the same diagnosis, by the way. So I will tell you, it really, you have the power to do so many things, and it all starts between these two beautiful ears.
Wow. And did that lead you, that refusal to surrender, did that lead you to starting Oh My Health?
Oh My Health, I wrote the first book called Oh My Health, There Is Hope, and I wasn't brave enough to do it on my own, but I heard so many powerful stories of people going through the same kind of dark moments And yet it led them to this beautiful space. And they were on their path, their purpose. And so I wrote the book and asked people to share their stories in it. And it became a bestseller right away, and then an international bestseller. And it was winning awards. And I was like, why? I only had a chapter in it, right? But I wanted to keep telling those stories. So when we started the podcast, it was literally to give people hope. I remember that feeling, and the way I described it was being convicted of a crime and given the death sentence, and being marched to that gas chamber and looking for an escape route, right? But the guards are surrounding me and I can't get out, and that deep pitfall in your stomach, like there is just no hope. And that is a horrible thing to have. And through this last 11, 12 years now, I talk to people and they have that same feeling. I'm like, I get you. I've been there,
Yeah.
but there is hope. And so I want them to understand that however dark it is now, there's still light. You can just keep moving towards the space you're supposed to be, and you don't have to do it alone.
Mm. Let me ask you a question, Jana. Thank you so much for sharing this, because, it takes courage, first of all. And I don't think folks know that. I mean, it took a really long time, even after being on air 10 years in agonizing pain with a mystery disease. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew what I was going through, right? I didn't know about what I know now, but it took courage for you to come to that place. And let me just ask you about three pivotal things you said. The courage to be aware that you were not going to accept that diagnosis. The courage then to understand you had the power to move beyond it. And then the courage to speak openly about it in a world that doesn't always like to listen to those of us that beat the odds. Now, I know that's strange, but we now live in a world we have to spread hope. And it's hope is not just a word without action. I got called out on this the other day. And I had to say to the person interviewing me, I don't know when you thought hope wasn't about action. I don't know where that came from. But how did that allow you to get to this moment today, talking to us, talking about what you've accomplished, and still be as committed as you've always been?
It's funny you ask that. If you look at my website, you're going to see the words fire, courage, and hope everywhere, because it started with a fire in my belly to not lay down and die. It had this big fire, but then it was a courage to take the moves that I was afraid to take. And the hope was that there's got to be hope if I'm doing all these things. And so it was that fire in my belly that got me moving forward. And sometimes that's the hardest part to find. Like you're sick, you're tired, you're in pain, right? And it's just easier to lay down and give up. But I found something special. I had a grandson, and I think they're listening now. They're in New York, and they went to the 9/11 for today, and they were going to listen in. So I know that if they're listening, I had a new grandbaby, and I wanted to know more about him, and I wanted him to have a memory of me. So I had a fire in my belly to create this memory with this 3-month-old who is now much older. And so I that's how I got started online. But if you can't find that fire, you're not going to get to courage to take the next step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Mark and I, when we decided to do this show, and I'd love for you to comment on this, because I know, Mark, you've got a bunch of questions as well.
Sure.
But you are now, of course, we introduced you. Well, I didn't, Mark did. But of course, you're all that. But you're so much more, because there's a vision we are going to talk about today. Because sometimes people look at us and say, aren't they done yet? Are they done? Are they, Pat, you done? Like, are you done yet? And I'm like, what am I, a soup? What are you talking about? But there's still the fire, isn't there?
There is. I didn't cure myself. I'm still living in the same diagnosis. So I have to stay on top of things. And there is an everyday fire. But what really stokes my fire are the everyday people that come on the show and they share their story, or I hear, like, I read an article in your magazine. I was so moved. I connected with them and I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
And those stoke that fire to keep moving forward. And I'll tell you, there's still some kind of not so great days, but even the not so great days for me are filled with joy, and they're not that bad. So I can take one of those bad days any day if it means I'm still here doing the things I need to be doing.
Wow. Wow.
You know, speaking of the passion and the fire, in 2019, you started Best Holistic Life magazine. And you know, the title of this episode is Living Your Best Holistic Life, because everything you do is about healing, health, positive attitude, that fire, that passion. So obviously, when you start a magazine, there's got to be some major passion there. And what I want to let all of our listeners know is that in 2019, Best Holistic Life magazine was an online publication that came out every quarter. And I remember you asked me to, you know, if I would like to write an article for it, and I did. And at that time, I think there was only about 30 or 40,000 subscribers. But now in 2024, I understand it's 1.5 million subscribers and growing. Jana, obviously you have this fire and this passion, but can you tell us why you think Best Holistic Life magazine touches the hearts of so many people?
Oh my goodness. I think it's because people like you who contribute to the magazine, you're vulnerable. You have shared such incredible moments about you, or people you've come in contact with that have moved my editors, have moved me. But everybody contributes like that. They contribute something that is educational for the other person, but they share a little piece of them. And I'll tell you what, if you're not connecting emotionally, you are not connecting. And so we are all about how do we get them moved by this? How do we get to wake them up through an emotional feeling and not just a bunch of words on a page? And so we try to connect with our readers on an emotional level so that we can start building that trust and rapport. The other part of it is I didn't do this on my own. I don't know that many people, but every time I connected with someone, they were so excited about their article. They shared it with their group of people and they became our people. And that just kept growing over the years. So I talk about sharing bubbles, and that's how we share bubbles.
Well, teamwork is dream work. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, just listen to us. You know, look, I love this because I got called out the other day, and I wonder if both of you get this. Somebody called me and said, "Are you Baccili from the Bronx?" I said, "Now I got a lot of Bacillis in the Bronx. Like, which one? Are you like Patricia?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, who the bleep is this?" And I got this call on my cell phone, because now apparently my cell phone number's out there. And I said, "Yeah, that's me." I want to ask you if each of you have ever had this moment. How come you're not dead? And I'm like, so the reason I'm asking this question is because sometimes people look at us and they say, you three are the least unlikely people to ever be talking about anything spiritually or anything holistically or uplifting and inspiring people. But yet we don't do this for, I don't know, maybe we do it for a career, but isn't this a calling? Isn't this a calling for you, Jana?
It is 100% a calling for me. And Dr. Pat, I had an experience exactly like that. I was at a farmer's market at the hospital I go to. They have this big, beautiful farmer's market. And I saw my doctor, from a surgical doctor from years ago. And he was staring at me. And pretty soon he walked up, he said, "I'm sorry, I'm staring. You look exactly like this woman I did surgery on. She passed away." I said, "No, I'm your, I'm still here. You are my doctor." But it was so funny. I had changed physically so much as I got healthier. By the way, when you let go of a lot of stuff, there's a light in you that you can't dim. And you look different, you feel different, you're lighter. And he did not even, he recognized me, but didn't recognize me. And I thought I looked like his dead patient.
But I am sure, Mark, and you've gone through this too, where, you know what I love about what we're talking about? And let me ask you both about this, right? Every once in a while, I need a reminder for like, maybe Jana, you could help me out with a better word, but I need a reminder. And the reminder I need is you have gotten this far not to give up and not to fail. I've got your back, right? Now, it doesn't have to be catastrophical things that happen, but every once in a while, you get a question mark that isn't really the truth of who we are, but we get that question mark. What do you find? Because this show, we have people call in and they have a lot of question marks, and that's what we help them with, right? What do you do with your question marks? Sometimes I eat potato chips, I'm just saying, but what do you do with yours?
Are you asking me what I do with my question
Yeah.
marks? I move fast. I really do. Depending on the question mark, if the question mark is coming from a negative place, I get out of it. I literally, you have to reset your mindset all the time.
All the time.
And I'm like, where did that come from? And I have to adjust. If it's a good one, I want to stay there as long as possible.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
That's a really good question, Dr. Pat. And I guess because we're I start off talking about D-Day today, and I've been actually working on an article for Best Holistic Life today. And so when I was taking breaks, I was watching the ceremonies in Normandy, and President Macron of France made a beautiful speech, and they had President Zelensky from Ukraine there and President Biden, and it was very, very well done and tasteful. And with question marks, it made me think of something Winston Churchill said, which is, when you're going through hell, keep going. And that's exactly what you just said, Jana. It's like you move, because when you surrender to the negativity, you get all immersed. I mean, depression, sadness, depression creeps up on you, and you can say, well, I can sit in this, or you can look at it and go, well, where is this coming from? Why is this affecting me now? Analyze it, but don't surrender to it. So I think it's true. When you're going through hell, keep going.
I love that. The best lesson I ever got, Jana, did you ever do firewalking? The best lesson I ever got, thank goodness it wasn't me, but the best lesson I ever got, oh, please, if you're listening, please forgive me for what I'm about to share. The best lesson I ever got was in one of these experiences. And you go throughout the training and they tell you what to do. And the one thing they tell you, right? The one thing they tell you not to do is to stop. They tell you don't stop, right? And I remember getting ready for this, and we all knew this. We understood it. We saw the tapes, we saw the videos, and we heard, don't stop. And I watched the person in front of me stop. And you ever have a moment where you say, I'm not going to do it? Or you say, I'm not going to do it that way. See, I think that's what we're talking about. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a reason you don't stop in a firewalk, because it's really hot. And when I went at the end, the facilitator said, did you run track and field? I said, no, I am really slow. They have to pinch run me when I play softball. They said, girlfriend, did you even touch the ground? Because all I could think about is keep running. Keep running. The metaphor is what we're doing the show tonight about. And it's not to run away. It's to run into yourself. It's to run with yourself. And to run with whatever spiritual, whatever you believe. I have 33 years of sobriety, so I call it the God of my understanding. But we've got to move forward. And I think, Jana, that's what you're doing. In your magazine, you shine a light for people to do exactly what you've done. That courage, that fire, and that hope. And that's what we need more of in the world. Mark, when you say that.
Oh, 100%. And Jana, one of the things I love about Jana being my editor is her humility. She's always so humble, because Jana says, well, I don't do this alone, but every month she writes an article for Best Holistic Life magazine, and her articles are inspiring and uplifting. And it's an extension of her life's work. And I know on your website, there's a section entitled Coaching Boosts. what can you tell us about what do you mean by a coaching boost?
So every month, whatever article I write on, I do a quick 5-minute video boost, just giving you a few actionable things you can do. I don't want this to go by without mentioning one little thing. We're talking about moving through those question marks and emotions.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be afraid of feeling the emotions. You should feel all the emotions. You should feel anger and depression and sadness. You just don't want to stop there like the fire. You want to keep moving, but it's okay to have all those feelings. I think people run from them without experiencing them. And so I want people to embrace those feelings, go through it, but move past it. Don't stop. Keep those little feet moving on the fire path. But I hear all the time, are you telling me not to feel this? Absolutely not. Feel it. The feelings are there for a reason. So go through those feelings. If you're going through depression, if you're going through a death and you're grieving, you're supposed to. But you don't want to live in grief and you don't want to live in depression. You want to go through it, process them and move back into the space of joy where you belong.
That's a very important point. And I think in general, women are better at embracing, confronting, and processing their emotions than men. And I'm seeing with millennial men, they're better. And you can tell because they're such great dads. The way they take care of their babies and hug them up and love them. And, my nephew and my niece's husband, they're both millennial dads, and they're just amazing with their kids. But for a lot of men, admitting grief, sadness, depression, God forbid you should cry, is looked at as some type of weakness. And the thing is, it's not weakness. We have emotions for a reason, and embracing them. I mean, one of the many important lessons I learned from my dad, who was a Navy SEAL, is he said, a real man is never afraid to say, I love you. And a real man is never afraid to cry for someone he loves who died. And that's one of the things I try to teach in my talks and workshops that I do. And I think, Jana, that point about confronting, embracing, experiencing your emotions, and I know Dr. Pat, I mean, we deal with this all the time, but particularly for our male listeners, it's not weakness to realize you have feelings. We have hearts, tear ducts, and feelings for a reason.
I can tell you, I think men are super sexy when I see them expose their real person, right? They have an emotional moment. I immediately feel in a connection with them. So hiding that makes us disconnected. So I feel like you're hiding it thinking you're not manly, but women are looking at you thinking you are more manly.
And look, there's a reason why I'm not affiliated with this channel, but I'm just going to use their name. I have no affiliation. There's a reason why the Hallmark Channel has become so popular. There's a reason, because it's appealing to all sides of us. And I think, Jana, that's what you're doing. Mark, we have a number of people. Jana, you'll stay with us, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take a very short break. And when we come back, more with the psychic and the doc, Jana Short. And please, you can go subscribe to the magazine just like I did. And then you'll find amazing articles. And by the way, just amazing imagery in here, beautiful pictures. And most importantly, you will find ways to up-level yourself. It doesn't matter where you are. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Best Holistic Life magazine, where we've cultivated a thriving community of 1.5 million like-minded individuals on a journey to their best selves. We're not just a magazine, we're a movement, a celebration of holistic living that embraces every aspect of your life. At Best Holistic Life magazine, we bring you the latest and greatest in wellness, fitness, nutrition, spirituality, mental health, relationships, and business health. Our team of experts, leaders in their respective fields, curate content that's not just informative, but transformative. Picture this, you on the path to your best holistic life. Subscribers gain exclusive access to groundbreaking articles, expert advice, and a supportive community that understands the importance of balance in every aspect of your life. Subscribe today and unlock a world of new healthy recipes, holistic insights, and practical tips that will empower you to live your best life. Whether you're a seasoned wellness enthusiast or just starting your journey, Best Holistic Life magazine is your trusted companion on the road to a healthier, happier you. Don't miss out on an opportunity to join our dynamic community of 1.5 million subscribers. Subscribe now to Best Holistic Life magazine and take the first step towards living your best holistic life. Because when you're at your best, the world around you becomes a better place.
Back to the Psychic and the Doc. I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, and I'm here with my co-host, the world-renowned behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. And tonight we have, speaking of world-renowned people in the health and wellness industry, we are honored to have our very special guest, Jana Short, who is a Renaissance woman when it comes to so many different things. And she's also the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine. And I recommend everybody, you can subscribe to it online, or you can get a hard copy by visiting bestholisticlife.com, just like the magazine, Best Holistic Life. Jana, I understand there is something you wanted to show us.
There is. I have a special surprise for you. We give awards out every year, and it's gotten quite large. And so we had to go through almost 4,000 submissions this year.
Wow.
And we were so proud and honored to give you guys the Paranormal Excellence Talk Radio, Top Radio Show of the Year award in our magazine. And I am so proud of you guys. Like,
Wow, thank you.
Was so
Oh my
amazing
gosh.
for us, like to be able to do, and I don't even vote on this. We have a committee that listens to all this stuff, reads the reviews, and they loved you.
Oh, well,
you.
thank you. I mean, it's an incredible honor. I mean, voted best
Yeah.
radio show, Paranormal Excellence, and
Yeah.
thank you to everyone that voted for us. And I also want to thank our listeners.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have such an amazing audience which spans the globe. Thank all of you so very much.
Yeah. Why don't we hear from a couple of people?
I think we should go to the phones. All right. And everybody, you can, if you would like to ask Jana a question, you can. Normally people call in, I'll do a reading, then Dr. Pat. And today we have Jana's uplifting insight. So you guys are getting the triple shot today. All
That's right.
All right, Emily, let's go to the phones. Who do we have up first?
Okay, up first we have Karen from New York. Karen, you are live.
Hi, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking my call. I've been enjoying the show.
Thank you, Karen.
And I think it's nice to meet you all.
Now, how can we help you? I'm sure you want to
Yeah.
chat with Mark first, right?
Okay, yes. That would be great.
Okay,
Actually, I
yeah.
would like to know. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I would, love to know if there are any loved ones around who have messages for me. I have many people in spirit.
Well, hold on, Karen. I'm already getting somebody. There's a female energy coming through for you. She feels to me like she is connected to you through your female, meaning like your mother's side of the family, and she feels as if she's the generation above you. So this could be a mom, stepmom, an aunt, on that level. And what I'm getting with her, this was not a quick passing. It took her time to pass. I'm getting a lot of pain in her neck. Normally I'd say like throat, but I'm getting pains in the neck. I'm also getting, she was having tremendous amount of pains in her breast, chest and breast, but particularly her breast. And I'm also feeling massive pain in her kidneys. Now with the kidneys, since they sit right above the hips, that could mean hip problems, but also with kidneys. And I do feel a sense of nausea. Nausea indicates to me that she was having difficulty eating and or holding down food prior to passing. Sometimes nausea is a cancer indicator. And based on these weird sensations in the chest and in the kidneys and lower abdominal region, I'm very suspicious that this could be cancer. Does any of this make sense to you, Karen?
Yes and no. My mother passed from cancer. It was lung cancer. I never heard of any pain that she was.
All right, hold on,
You know,
hold on, Karen.
The kidney. Yeah.
All right, hold on, Karen. You got to realize they got to get me to that. And the breasts are right in front of the what's? The lungs. Okay. So that's why I'm getting pain there, because the spirit has to get me to that. Now, the issue with the hips could indicate she may not have been able to walk or was having difficulty walking prior to passing. But I just want you to think about that for a second. Let me go and get the message that she wants to give you. And she's talking about your diet, your diet, your diet, your diet, your diet. And she's not here to be critical, although, you know, mothers have a way of, even though they may have died, they're not going to stop telling you what to do. And I mean that in a very loving way. But she's coming through because she's very concerned about your diet. And she's talking about your ability, your digestion, your swallowing. And also she's indicating to me this tremendous sense of exhaustion, like you just feel totally tired, worn out. That's been going on. And she's telling me there's a lot of things that you need to be changing in your life, but diet, 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 diet. And you don't have to give too much about your personal medical history, but does this make sense to you in any way?
Well, I think my diet is good, so I don't know what she's talking about. I am restricted, but in some way.
All right, hold on. All right, in my book, The Afterlife Frequency, I write about something called the no, no, no syndrome, where people say no, 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 and hyperanalyze. First off, you're very good about your diet. Secondly, you're restricted with your diet. So we're right on the money with the diet. What is going on with your diet? And there's something about energy levels and in a sense of exhaustion.
Yeah. So that's all true.
Okay.
You know, I've had health issues. I don't have the most energy, and I have a million problems. I'm in the worst possible situation I could ever imagine in my life, and I've been very depressed and stressed about it, despite all the work I do to lift my vibration and release the emotions and all that. I do meditations and activations, and listen to light language and things like that, and I've had healing for people. But
okay.
Anyway, so this has been long-standing issues that I have been dealing with. I have an integrative doctor who tries, but I don't think she really has a clue. And I eat pretty much a total organic, vegetarian, and the issue with my diet is more about chewing, because I've been working with dentists. It's a long story. I had to lose all of my top teeth.
Okay.
And so they gave me a denture which doesn't work, but I've been working with them to get fitted for a kind of denture that snaps in with implants and an open palate, and should be better for eating and chewing, but they have screwed up, and I should have had it by now, but it's a long story what they did.
Okay. All right. Okay, Karen.
So
Karen, hold on.
And it hasn't been right. So
all right.
That's it. I can't really chew food.
All right, Karen. And chewing is the first part of digestion. You got to realize you've got to look at the message one step at a time. So what this indicates is that your mother's spirit is around you. She's aware of what's happening in your life. So now we're going to shift over to Dr. Pat, and then I'm looking forward to getting not only Dr. Pat's insights, but also Jana's from a health perspective. Go ahead, Dr. Pat.
Hey, Karen, thank you for calling in, and thank you for your honesty and being so vulnerable. So let me say two things to you right out of the gate. Wow, girlfriend. Wow. You do have a lot on your plate. And let me just point out a couple of things. First of all, thank you for calling in, because you probably don't know this, but there are probably 10,000 other people that are listening that are saying, oh my gosh, yes, Karen, go Karen. Okay, I want to tell you shortly, I'm going to turn you over to Jana in a minute, but I want to tell you what I learned. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show when Jana and I were talking a bit about our own healing journey. We didn't get very descriptive, but I will tell you this. I was in pain for almost longer than a decade. And I worked with naturopaths and everybody. But the lesson I got from Dr. Nushin Darvish, who just published a phenomenal book, the lesson I got from her is something you don't get from a naturopath, and it's called gratitude. Now, the last thing you want to hear from your doctor when you're crying, you're in pain, you're getting treatments, you got the IV in your arm, whatever that is the last thing you may want to hear is about looking at a situation from the lens of gratitude. The best thing you want to hear is looking at your situation. So I'm going to paraphrase your situation. May I do that? And then I'm going to ask Jana. May I paraphrase your situation for a moment?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, let me say, Karen, enormously grateful, and I hope you can hold the space for this. I hope you're enormously grateful for first of all, having doctors and dentists around you that are willing to look at you, work with you, correct their own horrific mistakes. It sounds like that's it. Secondly, thank you so much for having a mom come through and remind you, Karen, you are whatever you think you are, Karen, you're so much more than that. Because what you heard today is despite all of those things, you're still a beacon of light and hope. So I want you to be thankful for that because I'm grateful for that for you. The second thing I want you to be grateful for is you're able to call into show, you're able to talk, we're able to understand you, and you have the courage and the willingness to stand on your 2 feet. And girlfriend, come on, you're from New York. You're going to get past this. The last thing I want to say to you, you are not your life situation. So the minute you stop owning that, can't say the word on air, but the minute you stop owning that one New Yorker to another, and every day I have got a task and an assignment for you, and say, yes, you're going to do it right now, even before you know what it is. Okay? Just say yes.
Okay.
No, say yes.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is what I was told to do by a spiritual teacher that I laughed at. I want you to get a pad out every day. And I mean, write it. Don't be texting in the phone. And every day, I want you to write down, thank you. I don't know what it is. The God of your understanding. I don't know who you hold in 70 times a day for 70 days. I want you to write it down every day. No copy and paste in crap either. Hand write it out. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Or thank you, whatever you believe in, right? 70 times a day. And then I want you to say it out loud in the morning and before you go to bed. That's your mission if you choose to accept it. Jana?
Hi, Karen. And my heart goes out to you. I feel for you. I had a similar situation. I had my stomach completely removed, and I know how frustrating that is. But what I will tell you is you are doing all the right things. If you're doing light therapy and meditation and all that, you're on the right track. Keep moving forward. I would have you make just one little shift in your mind because our brain creates loops. And if you're in that negative loop because you keep falling down that hole, you think you're getting ahead and they drag you back down, and that loop pops back in. If you just change it to one little word, I'm not eating solid foods yet. I haven't gotten my teeth fixed yet. What happens to the brain is it triggers the possibility it's happening. And the brain starts preparing for that possibility of things happening. So that really helps me when I'm struggling with something and the doctors aren't getting it right. They haven't got it right yet. I haven't figured this out yet. The pain isn't gone yet, but my body is preparing for that beyond the yet. So changing that little shift in your mind will really help you moving through this. But you are doing, I want to give you credit for all the amazing things you're doing for yourself. You're not just giving up, you're trying to get on the other side. So I congratulate you on that.
Thank you, Karen. Hey, you're going to call us back and let us know how you're kicking it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still confused about how I'm supposed to fix my diet.
No.
No. Karen.
Yeah,
Karen.
no. Yeah,
Part of the no syndrome is hyperanalyzing. Diet means you fixed your diet. Your mother's focusing on the diet. So don't overthink it. Listen to what I said. Listen to Dr. Pat. Listen to Jana. Call us back in about a couple months to let us know how you're doing. And let's go to our next caller.
Thank you, Karen. Emily, who do we have next? I love that word.
Okay, up next we are going to go to Lisa from Austin, Texas.
Hey, Lisa, how can we help you tonight?
Hi, Lisa, are you there? Okay, Emily, let's go to our next caller.
Okay, we actually have two Lisas from Texas.
Well, two Lisas for the price of one. I'm ready for that. And I mean that in a very positive, not, me too kind of way.
Lisa, welcome to the show. How can we help you tonight?
Lisa from Texas, you are live.
Okay, let's go to our next caller. Oh, there she is.
There
Hey,
you are.
Lisa.
Hey,
Okay, I'm live here. Are you guys hearing me? Lisa from Austin.
you're totally live. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I actually spoke to Mark and Dr. Pat about 3 years ago before I made my move to Austin, and you guys gave me the thumbs up, told me to go. It was going to be great, and it has been. But there's still some stuff missing in my life. I don't feel fulfilled, like it's not a full life. Career is going great, but I'm missing that courage and that fire that Jana was talking about, and I used to have it. And I don't know where it went or how to get it back.
Okay,
Make
you know what?
other
I'm
things
gonna,
happen.
all
Yeah,
right,
Jana.
I'm gonna pass the baton to Jana. This is a Jana
Just
short
Jana.
question.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk to you, Mark, because
Okay.
I'm looking for some guidance from you as well. So
Well,
Yeah.
let's get guidance in the material world first. Go ahead, Jana.
Hi, Lisa. You know what? I go there many times where I lose that passion. I would tell you to back up to the basics. What are your core values? What is it that you really see yourself doing? Like, what is it that you went to Texas for?
it was to start over because it was right in the midst of COVID, and my career, my clients had kind of tanked, gone away because of the situation, and I was just looking to start over, and I did. So I had the courage to do that, but I feel like I'm not showing up in my full life. I'm not showing up big. There's so many other things that I want to do, and I don't know why I don't have the courage to do them.
Because you're not quite sure what it is you're going to do yet. So how do you know how to take that next step if you don't know where that next step is to? So working on figuring out what that is not that easy, but I would highly recommend getting someone who can coach you, because what they do is basically listen and put a mirror up in your face, and you're going to be saying it over and over and over and over again, and you're just not hearing it. And pretty soon they're like, well, what about this? Yes, I've always wanted to do that. And it's coming out of your mouth from your soul. And then you start taking the steps to doing that. But I did the same thing. For me, it took a near-death experience to get put on track. I don't want that for you.
I don't want that either. No, I mean, I know I've started writing novels. I've got song lyrics written, and it's just the next step to finishing the novels or seeking out how do I get the song written. And I feel like I'm just walking through mud.
You know what? I feel that for you. I feel that probably is your purpose. I just got goosebumps. And you're just maybe fearful of going that next step. A lot of times fear holds us back, fear of rejection, or it's not good enough, or what are they going to say? This is outside of my realm. And because of that fear, we hold back with other reasons. I just don't know how to move forward. But if you can move past that fear and step into it, regardless of what they say. There's a new book out that I just heard about called Stop Checking Your Likes. If you could just step out there and not care what anyone says, because it's your passion, it's what you want to do, and just let the universe fall blindly into it with it, you might be surprised at what you find.
Okay, so it's fear.
It might be.
I buy that.
Let's ask Mark.
I buy that.
Mark, what do you have?
Is your father in spirit?
No. He's
All right, hold on. I'm getting a male energy connected to you through your male father side of the family. This could be a father, this could be a grandfather. Excuse me. And what I'm getting with him, the reason I'm coughing is I feel like my lungs are on fire, and I feel like this gentleman was a heavy smoker. And now I'm feeling not only the smoke, but my lungs filling up with fluid. So this indicates that this gentleman passed from some type of lung disease. Could be lung cancer, could be COPD, emphysema, congestive heart failure, because all of those, I get the same sensation. And I'm also getting my feet are icy cold. So he was having circulation issues prior to passing. And the buzzing that I'm feeling in my ears indicates to me that toward the end, he probably either was wearing hearing aids or had significant hearing problems. Do you recognize this person? Remember, and obviously your dad's here in this world, so this could be an uncle, great uncle, grandfather. Do you recognize this person?
Mostly, yeah. And ironically, my grandfather came through the last time I spoke to you guys.
Okay, well, apparently he's
That's
back.
He's back.
Okay,
Yes, and he
so
died of congestive heart failure.
okay, there we go. Was he having hearing issues toward the end? Do you know?
I don't recall that, no.
Okay, hold on. Now he's making my ears buzz loud. Oh, it's not about his hearing. He said it's about you listening. He said you're not listening. And let me ask him, who is it? He says, this is fascinating. He said you're not listening to your heart. And that's very fascinating because that's essentially what Jana just told you. He said, you already know what to do. He said, you already have the passion. He said, you just have to do it. He said, you have to do it. And he said, you've always been like this. He said that when you were a little girl, they would watch you and they would always marvel, like, when you were trying to ride a bike or do something like that, no matter how many times you would fall or stumble, you'd get back up and do it. He says, you know how to do it. Just do it. So there's your message.
That's my message.
That's your message.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, thank you so much. You bet.
Thank you, Lisa.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bet. Oh, that was so good, wasn't it? I started to take notes when Jana was talking right there.
Well, it's true. I mean, a
know.
lot of times it's like, I remember when I started my first book and then I was like, well, why am I doing this? I mean, I knew why I was doing it, but, and I remember, you get a lot of rejections and things like that, but none of those matter because if you stay focused and believe in yourself, then the right publisher, the right opportunity is going to come.
Love that.
100%.
All right, Emily, we have time.
Okay, perfect. We have Marissa over in Canada. Marissa, you're live.
Hi, Marissa. Welcome to the Psychic and the Doc. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. How can we help you tonight?
I tell you, all your other callers, I'm like, check, check, check. I think I could pull nuggets from all of them, so thank you for that. I'm struggling with food addiction and using food as a comfort or a crutch, and I have a lot of anger that I just can't seem to let go of, and I know a lot of it has to do with the passing of my best friend 6 years ago, and I just, as much as I've really improved a lot, I've gone from debilitating grief and sorrow to functioning. I'm still not that over that hump to like thriving and getting excited about life.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Was this best friend, this was a female?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because when you were talking about your best friend, I was getting a female energy who's on your generational level. And first off, wow, she keeps showing me canoes, kayaks, boats. Is one of you like canoes, kayaks, boats? No, I'm not talking cruise ships. I'm talking about, in a lake, in a pond, something like that. Does that make any sense to you in any way? Don't worry about how it applies to her. If I say a canoe, kayak, or like a John boat, how is that? What does that mean to you?
I live just off the river valley in my hometown, and I walk it every day, and I'm at the river every day. So canoes, boats, all of that. I love being on the water. I love being by the water.
There you go. See, that's a way that she's letting you know that she's around you and aware of what's happening in your life. And I'm not being facetious when I say this, but she's making me taste a lot of celery. I would venture to say you're probably not binging on eating celery, are you?
No.
Yeah, I'm Italian, a lawyer, and I was raised Catholic. I know that pause of guilt when I hear it. Okay, and I'm only joking here because the thing is, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to start eating lots of celery, but obviously there's something about getting to water-based foods, that she's talking about. And the reason that she started with the boat and the trips on the water, she said the problem is you're not doing things you love anymore. You're taking, in other words, instead of getting in the boat and rowing and making an effort, you're just standing in the shallows. And she said, you have to get in that boat and take a chance. I know we're running short on time, so I want to go to Dr. Pat and then to Jana.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. And again, I want to thank you for being so vulnerable. I want to say this to you, and then I'm going to have Jana chime in. I lost my sister on a hospital floor. She was maybe on the light edge, 450 pounds. When I made the announcement we were going to launch an addiction channel, and we were going to take into consideration every version of that, people were surprised. So first of all, I want to acknowledge that just like my sister, none of us can really understand the depth and the emotion of what you're feeling. But I want to tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's a doorway. There are things you can do. We don't have enough time in the show. But what I want to say to you, that what you're experiencing is real. The grief you feel, the pain you feel, whatever that is for your friend is real. And there are other ways, as we've said to so many people, there are groups you can join. But I want to just have Jana chime in here. Please understand that I get you at a very personal level. And so I hope you hear that we're not making you invisible on this show. Jana?
Hi, Marissa. I just want to say one short thing. I want to validate that you are deserving of love. You are unique and special and fabulous. And creating self-love is one of the hardest things to do. So I want you to just start loving on yourself like you are the most incredible person in the world. And it will start giving you the strength you need to move through those things. You are deserving of love. You deserve all of it. So why not give it to yourself?
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Marissa, thank you so much for calling in. Please check in with us from time to time.
And you know, Marissa, I recommend you subscribe to Best Holistic Life magazine, because there's a lot of articles in there that will help you. And I'm not trying to hawk my article this month, but the name of my article is Finding Your Inner Strength.
Yep.
And it's a story about a young woman, a girl who survived the London air blitz. And it's a true story. And the thing is, we can all learn from that. And I want to thank Dr. Pat, my amazing co-host, and our very special guest, Jana Short. And I do recommend everyone, please visit bestholisticlife.com. This is a magazine that you will benefit from every day of your life. And we're going to be back next week. Jana, you have an open invitation anytime to come back to The Psychic and the Doc.
Yes, thank you so much for everything. And thank you, by the way, very specifically, thank you for the article on mold.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for the article on mold, because I am so tired of trying to tell people about it. Thank you for covering a story that so many people won't cover. Thank you for that.
I will say real quickly, anyone who's drinking coffee is drinking mold.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, if you're eating peanuts and walnuts, we can do a whole show on that, couldn't we?
All right, there's our next show. Are you drinking mold?
Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. And I'm telling you, when you go to Best Holistic Life magazine, you're going to find so many things in there. So many people contributing to real solutions for all of you, because we so honor who you are, every single one of you. We know that what you're feeling and experience is real. We know it, and we know for sure that we're not going to give up on you. You heard it from Jana. So please, when you go there, you're also going to find some really, really cool things in there. I'm already making the watermelon gazpacho. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Okay, all clear.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.